Hello and welcome to this energy update for the 25th of April 2022. As you might have noticed, as we're coming to the end of April, the energy is definitely slowing down a little bit. And I just wanted to address this right now. I'm hearing it from a number of people. I'm definitely feeling it myself. It really felt like there was a lot of momentum in April, like we were finally able to get things done. I think I mentioned that in some of my readings as well. But there was a warning that I've heard from a number of my psychic friends, from astrologers, was that we really need to get things going and get things on track before Pluto retrograde, which I believe is the 29th of April. Please correct me if I'm wrong there, I'm not an astrologer. But it is something I try to keep an eye on because it always plays into the energy of whatever we're dealing with. So the astrology is always important, as much as the numerology, as much as, the cards and the other energies that we sense as well. So I just wanted to pull a few cards for everyone today, just to give us a bit of an idea as to what's coming up for the end of this month and moving into next month and forwards as well. Because the energies suddenly become a lot more challenging, whereas earlier in April we probably felt, well, I certainly felt this, and tell me how you felt in the comments, I felt like things were finally getting on track, like things were finally moving forwards. The energy was finally moving for all of us. But there's this sense of overwhelm as well that's sort of been coming and going the whole time too. So I wanted to just have a look at the energy here and see what's going on, get an update, get some inspiration, get some information for us all here that we can actually use. So I have 4 cards for us here. We'll just start at the top. This was the first card that I pulled. We have number 17, Visualise. Now, this one jumped out straight away. It's actually a very hopeful card, this one. It's reminding us to stay positive in our visualizations and to continue manifesting the things that we've started to work on, the things that we've started to manifest. Now isn't the moment to stop. We need to keep going with that and stay in this positive state of opportunity, knowing that good things are coming, in a state of positive denial if necessary, if things aren't going that well around us or don't appear to be moving as quickly or as successfully as we might have hoped so, particularly if you've started a business or a new job recently and you thought it was going to be all that and suddenly it's going a lot more slowly, or it's not advancing in the direction you hoped it would immediately. It will. We just need to hang on in there energetically. It absolutely will. The thoughts that we are putting out right now on the sort of lower human level are absolutely resonating with the higher soul level. So it's absolutely crucial that we keep that communication open between ourselves at the lower vibration and our higher selves, our soul level, our spirit guides. Keep getting those messages through. Keep that two-way communication open and keep following their guidance as well. Now is not the moment to throw in the towel on any of your projects or relationships. It's just a moment to remember that sometimes you just have to keep going, and life and business, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and that can be really, really easy to forget sometimes. So the next card I have for us is number 29, You Are the Universe. And this kind of says it all, really, from a spirituality point of view. It says it all. 29:11:2. Beautiful numerology there. It's great wisdom. It's the pillars of the temple. It's very, very sacred energy from that number. But you are the universe, and even when it seems like there are dark clouds looming, or things seem very dark and difficult, or don't appear to be moving in your direction, the way you want them to go, there is still so much hope, so much positivity. And if you had any idea of who you actually are, none of these earthly worries would concern you in the slightest, if you could remember that. And I know that's part of the point of this simulation that we live in, is that we forget all of that. We forget that we're actually this. We're not the little person at the bottom. We're all of this. We're everything. We are God. We are one with our Creator. We are one with our universe. And it's so difficult to remember that at times. And I just want to say, if you've been falling into negative thinking, into darker thought patterns, into worry, in particular into anxiety, thinking, oh no, what if this happens? Oh no, what if this terrible, dreadful thing happens? Someone else said this is going to happen. Well, guess what? It doesn't have to. Okay, you are working in conjunction with the universe. You are working in conjunction with your creator, with God, the goddess, whatever you call the higher power. It does not matter. You are one, and you are far more in control of your life than you might realize. And also, it reminds us that none of the things that we actually experience here really matter in the grander scheme of things. We can let go of all of that worry, all of that stress, all of that emotional and mental burden that we carry when we think that we've only got one shot at this thing called life and we have to do everything perfectly and achieve all of these things that the television said will make us happy. That's actually bullshit at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. It's nonsense. We're here to have experiences. We're here to be happy. But it doesn't matter if you don't have the big house, the big car, the expensive looking wife, or whatever it is that you think you're supposed to have have made it, whatever that means. You are already the universe. You are already enough. You are already loved. None of those things actually matters in the grander scheme of things. And sometimes it can be really, really helpful just to take a step back, to sit in meditation and remember that you're already everything, and nothing that you do here really ultimately matters. It's okay. You're safe. It's all right. Yes, you're here to have some experiences. Yes, you may be experiencing struggle, difficulty, suffering, and believe me, I get that. We all suffer. It could be terrible for many of us. Many of us have histories of trauma and abuse. I totally get that. If that's the case for you, you're in very good company. But ultimately, it can really help just to step back, to take that spiritual point of view and remember, you know what? None of this matters. It's all okay. Everything is okay. Everything will always be okay. And then the next card I have today, we have number 38, Create Space. Now, I really like this one because I have had this really strong urge this month to do decluttering, and I think I've mentioned that in previous weekly readings as well. Declutter, get rid of the things you don't need, get rid of the clothes you don't wear, get rid of the books that you've read or don't resonate with you anymore. Goodness me, I'm terrible. You can't see, but over there is a giant bookcase full of books, and I've had to purge it a few times, not least because I don't have a lot of space, and I would have a whole library if I could. I'd recreate the Library of Alexandria, but that's another matter. I don't have no space for all of my books, but equally they don't always resonate with me after a while. You might read a book and you take what you need from it, you learn what you need from it, and then a few years later, you don't actually need it anymore. It may be time to let it go. You don't have to keep it just because it's a book. Just because it helped you once, you may not actually need it anymore. So look carefully at that and look at the clothes that you can get rid of, the ones that don't fit. I know women, we're terrible for this in particular. We buy these clothes and we think, oh, well, I'll keep that pair of size 8 trousers because they might fit me one day. Chances are they won't. We know what we're like. I'm terrible for this. I've never been a size 8. I probably never would be because I'm 5'10", but that's a whole other issue. But creating space. And this is the thing, a lot of us, we've been doing a lot of manifesting work this month, April in particular, and in order to manifest something new, in order to let something new come in, you've got to make a space for it. You've got to create a gap for it. You've got to get rid of something else. It's all very well buying a new car, but where are you going to park it if the old one's still in the drive? Where are you going to put it? And this is my point, and it's that old saying, empty your bowl of yesterday's rice. Yeah, you've got to get rid of the things you don't need anymore, the things that don't serve anymore, that don't resonate anymore. You've got to make the space, leave the void, and that is scary. You've got to leave the void for a moment for these things to come in. Now, 38, 8... So again, we've got another 11-2 here. We've got 38-11-2, which is a little bit different to 29-11-2, which is a little bit softer, a bit more feminine. With this energy, this is all about creation, but also knowing that just because you let go of something doesn't mean you'll be left with nothing. It's remembering that we have to we often create from something, and we have to get rid of something, destroy something, or let go of something for the next thing to come in. But it's a cycle. And it keeps going. And nature understands this. Nature understands that things have to die back in the winter, or certain plants require actual fire. They require burning in order for their cycle to continue. You know, that seems incredibly destructive, but that's actually how they survive, how they grow. Plants know that, you know, they die back in the winter. Trees die back in the winter. They drop their leaves. They let go of things. They get ready for the next year. They create that space. They get ready for it. And that's what we're being asked to do this month. We've done all this amazing manifesting work, and our manifesting genuinely has been going on fast forward, but we may not have seen all of the results as yet, because some things do take longer than others because of resistance and divine timing, and that's okay. And if you want to know more about resistance, divine timing, law of attraction, check out my book. I'll put a link in the description below. But with this card in particular, it's telling us it's time to create that void, create that zero, so that we can have more things coming in. And that's scary. Letting go of things is frightening, is scary. But there's this beautiful fire at the center here, and it reminds us, you know, the phoenix burns in flames before the new phoenix is born. So it's time to let go of some things. It could be actual physical items. It could be relationships. It could be a romantic relationship, friendship, colleagues, a job, a business, something that just isn't working for you, something you don't need, but you may need to let go of to bring the new thing in that you want. Sometimes we need to leave the job before the new job can come in. Energetically, sometimes that's how it happens, although it may not seem like a very sensible way to do things. Sometimes that's the only way. So remember that. Okay, so our last card here, we have number 34, soul mating. I really like this card. It's really, really beautiful. Look at this beautiful cosmic rose petals unfurling here. This gorgeous heart, this beautiful sword of truth. Incredibly powerful. I get very strong sense of Archangel Michael coming through here with a lot of love and protection, but really showing us the truth of who we are, showing us the truth of everything about us, everything about this world and this illusion that we live in right now. 34-7. Yeah, absolutely. Incredibly wise numbering, very, very wise. But also reminding us that our mysticism, sometimes the ego can really lead us astray when it comes to spirituality and mysticism. And actually on the subject of soulmates, I do talk about this a lot if you've ever had a reading from me. And very often it's not what people want to hear. They don't necessarily want to hear that this person who keeps running away from them is not their twin flame, because they've heard that that's what twin flames do. They run away from relationships, then they come back, and then they run away and they come back, and can be incredibly painful, and that must be the reason they're meant to be with them, which is horrible advice at the best of times. We don't fully understand what soulmates and twin flames even are, so to give somebody the advice to stay in an abusive or painful situation may be a terrible, terrible thing to tell them. But unfortunately, I think with any spiritual community, actually, you know, I don't want to pick on the New Age community because technically I'm a part of it, although I don't like that name or whatsoever. Any spirituality can lead us astray, you know, any religion in particular, where there's dogma in particular, where there's a specific belief that's been written down and says, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, this is how things are always done, this is how this works. Well, guess what? That's not how things work. And this is why dogma is so hurtful and so harmful. But equally, people can misinterpret spiritual information, like they can misinterpret passages from the Bible or the Quran or even the Tao Te Ching. I mean, you could misinterpret that if you wanted to. And you can do real harm to yourself and to other people. And there's a real reminder there, you know, to look very clearly at your spirituality. And to make sure that your ego isn't actually leading, that you are actually getting the information from soul. Okay. Be very, very careful there, because the ego loves to hijack things and loves to make you believe, oh, look at me, I'm so spiritual and incredible and wonderful, and look, and I've made all these rules for myself in my life, and my life is actually falling apart and I'm very unhappy, but look how spiritual I am. Well, again, that's a load of rubbish. You don't want to be unhappy. You don't want to be miserable with your hair falling out in an abusive relationship. There's clearly something wrong there. So logic is necessary, okay? And I don't think your soul would ever say, don't use logic. Of course we should use logic. My spirit guides would be the first ones to tell you, use some logic here. Look at this in in a sensible way. Don't just think, oh, well, it'll be okay because this is what I'm supposed to do. We are very much getting beyond this this idea now, which I think belongs in the old energy of the era of Pisces that we're moving out of as we go into the age of Aquarius, which is, oh, what am I supposed to do? And this is a question I get asked a lot, actually. Well, I used to get asked a lot. It's declining somewhat, possibly because different people are drawn to me now, but I think as well people are waking up that this is the wrong question to ask. The question, what am I supposed to do? Well, my answer to that is always, what do you want to do? What makes you happy? I don't know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do whatever you want to do. This is the age of Aquarius, baby. This is how we roll. It's about getting away from that old dogmatic or perhaps even servile view that we have, that somebody else has to tell us what our path is in life. Somebody else has to choose that path for us, or a higher power has to tell us what we should be doing. It's that horrible should word that I'm always saying, throw it out the window, don't listen. So that's just a little update for you this week. I am also working on the weekly forecast, which is going to come out possibly today Monday, possibly tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. I'm trying to be very gentle with myself at the moment because I've been going through a lot with all of these energy shifts and changes right now. So I'll always do my best for you, always try and get some information out, some videos out with a message for you. If there's anything in particular you'd like me to talk about, please do put a comment below. Always interested to hear what you would like me to talk about next, and please do drop a like on this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel because that does really help me. Thank you so much, and I will see you all again soon.